Hello and welcome to Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we talk about everything to do with theology books, whether those books be on a reading list for your bachelor's or master's degree, or whether or not they're just something that you bumped into on a visit to your pastor or vicar and seen on his bookshelf. Or maybe you're just looking to build up a bookshelf, to populate a bookshelf for yourself. Well, this is the channel where we discuss such matters. If you like what we have to say today, please remember to click on like and to also subscribe and to click on the bell, and that way we can let you know as soon as another Pastor's Library is launched. So what I would like to do today is discuss a commentary series that is actually quite different. You'll know what I mean when I say that a commentary is normally an exegesis of each part of a book in sequence. So if you're looking at a commentary of First Thessalonians, you'll get a little bit of introduction, a little bit of who wrote the book and when they think the book was written, and so on. And then it will go into a breakdown, verse by verse commentary. And that's generally what you would expect. Some commentaries will also have an application, and that's preferable for a lot of people. But today we're going to look at a series of commentaries that are coming out now. There are quite a few of them available, but there's a lot more to come. And they come from a good pedigree of publisher, from Wiley Blackwell, and they are the Through the Centuries Commentaries. The New Testament ones are blue and the Old Testament ones are purple. And basically speaking, these books give a historical series of interpretations of the text, depending on when they were read. So, for example, they will start with the early church fathers and they'll go on through the centuries. Wherever there are writings of interpretation, commentaries written about these books, then you will find commentary on the history of the interpretation of them. Now, this is interesting because not only will you get, for example, what various early church fathers said and what great men of God in history have said, which is all very interesting, but you'll often get comments that are linked to hymns or comments that are linked to poetry. And the arts will be reflected in general in these commentaries also. Now, because I saw his name on the book, I bought 1 and 2 Corinthians to start with, because this is by Anthony Thistleton, who is a favourite commentator of mine. And I have to say to you, amongst the list of the rest of these commentaries, I'd be very stuck to find another name I knew well. And that's because, of course, these in general are written with somebody, by somebody who has a leaning towards the history of the interpretation rather than the current history of the interpretation. And so you can understand that you might well be delving into different academics than perhaps you would regularly see in, say, the New International Commentary on the New Testament or the Word Biblical Commentaries or such other publications. So I have to say to you that these are very different as they're read, and you can really get a great deal of insight of what people have believed about these texts throughout the years. And there's another series which I'm going to talk about next week probably, which you might want to compare with this. But this series is very good quality indeed. At the end of the day, Wiley-Blackwell are a prestigious publisher, and they have gone out of the way, I believe, to lay down the idea for these and to promote it with their authors, and they've been very successful indeed. So the 1 and 2 Thessalonians one is definitely a winner. For the Old Testament, Scott Langston has done the one on Exodus, and I have to say, I sort of this arrived in the post, and normally when books arrive in the post, I have a quick flick and I put them on the shelf, waiting for the opportunity to delve into them. But I rather got engrossed in this one, and I found myself sort of about 40 pages into it before I realised I'd started reading it. And I have to say, I found this book very engaging, and it offers lots of ideas of how people have engaged with Exodus through the years, from famous politicians, for example. And it is definitely a worthwhile guide. And what I would say to you is, you will struggle to get an alternative commentary that has the contents of this. This is not your main exegetical commentary, but this is a very interesting commentary, and one which you may find has unique insights. So this is a very worthwhile book. Now, because I usually look at the book of Revelation when I get a new commentary, I was very interested in this. And of course, with Revelation, you get a lot of references to John Nelson Darby and to Tim LaHaye and the Left Behind series, and a lot of other very, very different viewpoints as well. But you're getting the history of this, you're getting how these ideas have touched our greater zeitgeist, the view of mankind, the view of the church. And there's also some very interesting artwork reproduced in here as well. And it just captures the imagination. So once again, like the others that I've mentioned to you, this is a worthwhile book. More than anything, you will gain the history of Revelation. As indeed you might already know, Revelation was a book that was almost left out of the canon. Along with Jude, there were some issues about it. And Martin Luther is quoted in here saying what he said about the book of Revelation, that basically he could take it or leave it. So what am I saying about this series? These are very different. These are primarily talking about the history of interpretation of the book that is being written about. This is not primarily giving you an up-to-date exegesis by a particular author who has a particular view. This is definitely a consensus of views. And I would suggest to you, the authors do not necessarily only quote the things that they themselves agreed with, or may even have been engaged with, but they very much do offer you everything that is out there. So the Wiley-Blackwell Bible commentaries, a worthwhile introduction, lots more on the horizon. I think I've only got about 7 right now, but there are others out there already, and there's a lot more to come. So watch out for them. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been a little bit of an insight to you to a new series. If you've liked it, please click like, click on subscribe, click on the bell, and we'll let you know as soon as another Pastor's Library is launched. God bless you. Bye.